But since you drew a dick, you have to ask your mom to pay. I said, since you drew a dick, you have to ask your mom to pay. Yeah. So you asked about the paint, and originally what I'm standing on is a word puzzle, and I keep the paint out here so that if people solve the puzzle, I'll paint copies for them. And as I started taking my clothes off to like gain more attention from people, naturally someone would just like come up and ask to paint on me because they assume that's what the paints were there for, and I just like let them run with it. And by the end of the night, like I'll just be covered in paint because like dozens of people will come up and want to paint on me, and it just became part of the performance. So it's a word puzzle that spells a phrase, and each letter appears once on the board, and the lines between the letters indicate the pathway that spells the phrase in a continuous path. And you know you've gotten the correct phrase if you've used each line only once. So there's other words that can pop up, but there's only one solution that solves it for like every line being used once. And every time I do this, about like maybe one person solves it over the course of an evening.
What?
It's a phrase. It's a string of words.
It starts right.
Sorry?
It starts right.
Not necessarily. Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily start with I. That's just like where it is on the board. So you have to figure out where it starts too. That's part of the hard part. It's part of the challenge. And if people spend enough time asking me questions, like I'll give them hints and I might tell them where it starts just to kind of like engage them. But the general theory is that I don't charge money for my art, but I charge people's time. So the more time that they put in engaging with me, the more time I'll put into sharing art with them. And the other day, someone suggested that I stand with a more interesting pose than just like with my hands down on my side. So that's what I've been trying this.
Standing like Jesus statue from Brazil.
Well, it's like welcoming. You know, it gets people's attention a little bit more, and it's supposed to be inviting.
And you're inviting anyone to just paint on you.
Yeah. But I never suggest it. I only the rule I set for myself is like I'll stand here all day, and if no one asks me to paint, then I won't get painted on. It's only when people ask me to paint that I just say yes.
What's your boundaries?
What do you mean?
I mean, surely there's like some no. You're saying you're just letting people paint on you.
Yeah, no, I've had all sorts of like profanities, like inappropriate drawings, just like racist things, like any type of shit. And I like ask people like not to do that, but a lot of times they just paint it on my back, and then someone will come up to me and be like, "Yo, like you have like the N-word painted on your back," and I'm just like, "Well, I didn't, but now I do," and obviously like I didn't paint that, and like people are like free to express themselves however they want. So there was a Palestinian protest last night, and across my chest was written "Fuck Israel," and it was the first person that painted on me. And so for the rest of the night, everyone just assumed that I was part of the protest. And I'll explain it that I'm not if they ask me, but a lot of people just walk by. And the whole point is that people can interpret this however they want. And until they actually engage and ask questions, I don't offer any explanation.
Your project, is it in any way political?
No. It's just, it's the original joke, as I said in our first interview, was that I'm just trying to establish a platform. So I'm making myself the platform, and people can express themselves on me however they want.
That's a very dangerous game to be playing.
Yeah.
People express themselves in the wrong way.
Yeah, but that's like, that's the fundamental theory of freedom of speech, right? Is that you're supposed to be able to express yourself, and as long as it's nonviolent, and people aren't, like fighting me or like hurting me or like hurting other people. Like if they want to write something, like if it's like, I don't know. I guess there might be a limit, but maybe not. Like someone like made a joke about painting a swastika on me, and I'm like, well, I'm wearing a Jewish star, so like it'll balance out. It's important not to pretend like things don't exist, right? So like there is a lot of hate in the world, and so if someone wants to express hate on me, like that's their prerogative. And if someone wants to, like get mad at me for having hate expressed on me, then they're free to engage with me and ask me why it's there. And I'll explain that like it wasn't something that I wrote, it was just something that someone else wanted to express.
I hope it never happens to you, bro.
Oh, I've been attacked.
Oh my days.
Yeah, actually the guy who attacked me the other day just came up and apologized. No
You
shit.
figured out the entire thing.
Yeah.
Full story.
Sorry?
You were attacked for having fucked Israel.
No, I was attacked just for being here. It was like the guy was like messed up in the head, and he started yelling at me, and like tried to like steal shit.
No, you're doing it. You have multiple reasons why you're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, like I started the project just as a performance art piece, but it didn't really make sense to me, and it didn't really make sense to other people. It was just something I felt like doing, and the inclusion of like fundraising for an engagement ring, like completed the sentence for like myself and for everyone else. Where, at a minimum, it makes sense that like I'm out here doing something for someone else other than just myself. You know, like she rides horses for a living. And so in the winter, she's like outside all day, every day, like working physically hard and shivering. So my joke with her is that like I do the same thing here. I come outside. Yeah, she's back in the States. And so I come out here and I stand here and I shiver all day and, you know, like physically strain myself by standing in the same position for 6 to 8 hours. And that like balances out the way she provides and like supports herself back home. Oh, I would like come here. I would just like stand here in a t-shirt and sweatpants. And then after about an hour when no one would talk to me, I'd take my t-shirt off. And then people would start coming up to talk to me a little bit. But then it would like kind of like plateau. And then like another hour would pass and I'd take my pants off and then I would just get flocked by people. And so it was like an iterative process where I was like adjusting to the temperature and like increasing the amount of attention I was getting.
That's actually pretty smart. You don't work out.
Nah.
You're in good shape.
Appreciate that.
I mean,
Appreciate that. We've gotten to the point where what happens when I talk to someone for a long time is I think it kind of like deters other people from coming up.
remember to just start screaming, telling people it's right on you.
No, just like hang out in the crowd and just like take more of a backseat. You can come up here if you want. You can scan the QR code, it'll take you there. Thank you. No, back up a little bit. Back up a little bit. There you go. Press that button. This guy's YouTube, yeah. But otherwise, it's just performance art. He does. It's written right here. If you want to see it. Here we go. Let me take this off so people don't think the whole thing's being filmed.